While Cruz tries to sell himself to New Yorkers, the new issue of Time magazine asks if he's likable enough to beat Trump to the nomination. Former Republican candidate Lindsey Graham says Cruz is the best choice. Graham did not always believe that.
If you nominate Trump and Cruz, I think you get the same outcome. You know, whether it's death by being shot or poisoning, does it really matter? Ted Cruz, at his core, is an opportunist when it comes to his political career.
If you killed Ted Cruz on the floor of the Senate and the trial was in the Senate, nobody could convict you.
We may be in a position where after rally around Ted Cruz is the only way to stop Donald Trump.
So you would,
and I'm not so sure that would work.
But you'd recommend that in order to stop Donald Trump, rally behind Ted Cruz?
I can't believe I would say yes, but yes.
What turns you on about Cruz?
That he's not Trump.
Senator Lindsey Graham is with us right here in Studio 57. Welcome.
Well, I hate tape. We're in the process of six-putting in the Republican primary.
Yeah, right.
Just bear with us.
Yes.
So why did you change your mind, and what goal do you have in mind?
Well, number one, the field is narrowed. I think Trump is a disaster for the country and the party. I just got back from the Mideast. No one asked me about Cruz. Trump's foreign policy is a complete disaster. I think President Obama's foreign policy is failing. But the idea that we're going to withdraw from NATO, that we should ban all Muslims, has made it very hard to partner with people in the Mideast who we need partners in the region. I think his domestic and foreign policy on the Trump side is gibberish. This whole
So
idea
you
of
hope
deporting.
everybody will rally behind Ted Cruz in order to stop Donald Trump?
Yeah. And
can you do it?
Yeah, I hope so.
And how will you do it?
Well, number one, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Ted Cruz is a Republican. He's smart as hell. He's run a very effective campaign. And we have a lot in common, but we also have some real differences. He is a real Republican from the more ideological spectrum than I am, but he would not destroy our party.
And can he beat Hillary Clinton if she is a nominee?
Yeah, yes, sir.
But why Cruz and not Kasich?
Huh?
Why Cruz and not Kasich?
Because John Kasich is probably more electable, but Ted Cruz has run a campaign he's become the primary alternative to Trump. He represents that outside movement in the party. When you add up the votes, 65% of Republicans are wanting someone outside the system. So Ted is in it, but he's also an outsider. And let me say this, my Republican friends. If you parachute somebody in just on electability, Paul Ryan's a wonderful guy, doesn't want to be put in his position. I'm trying to get us the most viable nominee for 2016 that could win without destroying the party. I think Trump destroys the party. And if you parachute somebody in and try to ignore millions of votes, you're going to destroy this party. So we were right back to Ted.
If Donald Trump wins New York and he wins more than 50% of the vote, he will get almost all of the delegates here in New York. That would mean that Ted Cruz would have to win about 90% of the remaining delegates in order to win. It's not going to happen.
It's a lot better than having to win 140% where Kasich's at. But I think he can stop Trump at 1237. I think Trump is going to fall short.
But if you had to place the bets on a contested convention, what's the likelihood that that's going to happen?
4-1 is going to happen.
4-1 it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And the likelihood that the party leaders are going to try and, in your words, parachute someone else in?
That would be a disaster. Trump is a disaster because, one, I don't believe he's a Republican. His policies are really bad for the country.
Even though you think it's a disaster, a lot of Republicans do want to see like 3 or 4 ballots and it go to Paul Ryan.
These are the same Republicans who ignored Trump. Take my advice.
Why would Paul Ryan be a bad candidate?
But Paul Ryan be a great candidate. You should run. What are we telling the people?
So don't choose somebody that hasn't run in the primaries.
Millions of people have voted. We're down to 3. The nominee should come from one of those 3. The bottom line is that millions of people have gone to the polls and cast their ballot. If 2,000 of us take that choice away, then I think you destroy the Republican Party forever.
What are you just?
Forever.
You mentioned you were coming back
forever, because the Ted Cruz people leave. The Trump people are probably going to leave no matter what. But Ted Cruz is a part of my party. Donald Trump is an interloper. I don't think he's a reliable Republican. He's given money to every liberal Democrat in the world. Whatever you want to say about Ted Cruz, he's smart, he's conservative, he represents the philosophy that we agree upon a lot more than Donald Trump.
So you say, as Time Magazine said, he's likable enough.
Compared to who? Bernie and Hillary? Yeah.
But you know, you mentioned Cruz and Donald Trump.
If we're going to elect a president on likability, we need to start over.
What are our allies in the Middle East saying? Because both of those candidates have strong...
What's going on in America? First thing out of the mouth from the Prime Minister of Israel, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Egypt was, what's this with Trump?
And what do you tell them?
I said, it's the silly season, that he's not going to be the nominee of my party, that he doesn't represent traditional mainstream Republican foreign policy. America is angry. They're responding to the anger, but this guy will not be the president of the United States, and he doesn't represent the Republican Party that I love when it comes to domestic and foreign policy. They're unnerved, but I tried to be reassuring. And I said the Congress is going to be there no matter who's president.
All right. Senator
Thank you,
Graham,
Senator.
good to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.